Good morning. Today is Thursday, April the 9th. My name is John Maisie. I am a certified financial planner, a chartered life underwriter, and a certified health insurance specialist. And I have 22 years in the financial services industry. I want to do a quick video this morning to talk to you about the changes during the state of emergency when it comes to specifically to prescriptions and limiting the supply to 30 days, and the response that's come through from the New Brunswick Pharmacists Association. And I wanted to explain how health insurance works and what my concerns are at present with this particular measure. I understand the need for potentially limiting the supply. We had disruptions in transportation prior to COVID-19 because of rail blockades. That may have impacted the ability to get medications to the pharmacies. As well, a lot of medications are actually produced in China, and during the shutdowns in China, that would have impacted manufacturing. However, the issue that has come to bear in New Brunswick is taking a 90-day supply down to 30 causes a couple of different issues. The most obvious one is with physical distancing, need to stay at home. You've got people going back and forth to the drugstore 3 times as opposed to 1. The province of New Brunswick stepped up and said anybody on the provincial NB drug plan or the NB provincial seniors plan would only have to pay 1 deductible over that 3-month period. So that's fine and good for them. Unfortunately, the large majority of New Brunswickers do not fall under those programs. They tend to be for people that were high risk, that could not get coverage elsewhere, or people that had modest incomes in retirement. The rest of the folks end up paying co-pays, or they have to pay their prescriptions out of pocket. When we look at the cost of a prescription, there's two components to that prescription. The first and most obvious one is the cost of the medication. So, for example, a cholesterol pill right now might be running on a generic, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 cents a pill. If you get 90, it's times that. If you get 30, it's times that. That doesn't really change. The other part of it is what is called the dispensing fee, or another way to look at it is the professional fees charged by the pharmacist that filled your prescription. Dispensing fees vary quite a bit depending on the pharmacy you're using. The big national chains that offer points as a reward or incentives to fill there tend to have much higher dispensing fees than some of the big box stores that are going on sheer volume, or some of the smaller independent ones. Dispensing fees can range anywhere from $4, $5 a prescription, upwards of $13 a prescription, depending on the particular institution. So when we look at this, if we go back to the cholesterol med, a 30-day supply typically would run somewhere in the neighborhood of about $30, about 30 cents a day. Under this scenario, we look at it, and the cost of that now is going to go from $30 for 3 months to upwards of somewhere in the neighborhood of possibly $50 to $60 if we have to pay those 3 dispensing fees. The Pharmacists Association has pushed back, saying that we're encouraging the insurers, as well as Provincial Health Minister Ted Fleming, have pushed back to the provincial or to the life insurance companies and benefits providers, saying we would encourage the insurance companies to do the same as we're doing when it comes to the dispensing fees. The problem with that is this: when we're looking at how rates are calculated in the private world or in the employer world, it's money in, money out. So if we collect $100,000 in premiums, we're anticipating spending $80,000 in claims. We've got to pay for the administration. We've got to pay, for the booklets, those type of things, and the services provided. All of a sudden now, maintenance drugs, and this is the biggest concern is on maintenance drugs, the cost of that maintenance drug has now gone up $20 over a 3-month period. Doesn't seem significant. The problem with that, though, is that adds to the claims. So if we use that $100,000 scenario where we collected in premiums at $80,000 in claims, if this is drawn out, that $80,000 in claims could go upwards of $85,000, $86,000, $90,000, depending on the amount of extra dispensing fees we have to pay. So what ends up happening at the end of the fiscal year for these plans, the insurers look at it and say, okay, our target ratio was 72% on this particular product. We collected 100,000. We anticipated paying out 70,000. We paid out 80, so we have an increase of X. Now they're going to look at it and say we paid out 86,000. So that increase is going to be X plus whatever that shortfall is. So it's not, the issue that's coming up here is not caused by the insurance companies. The issue that's coming up here right now is, and I've asked publicly on two different platforms on multiple occasions to the New Brunswick Pharmacy Society to answer this question, is if they've instructed their pharmacies and their pharmacy owners to work with the population in the province of New Brunswick and short fill the prescriptions rather than do it 30 days at a time. When you short fill a prescription, which I've had happen personally because I had a shortage of a particular drug one time, I went back several days later and the prescription was filled and I was covered under the same dispensing fee. So right now, in my opinion, the people that are most benefiting the most from this are the pharmacy owners. It's not the individual pharmacists because many of them are employees, but the pharmacy owners right now are seeing an influx of extra dispensing fees, and that is problematic. Not only is it costing the average citizen more, but if your deductible is say 20%, you might see, going from $6 to paying that 3 times. But the other part is the other 80% is being paid by the insurer. So this is just going to compound the effect. Now, specifically to Health Minister Fleming, his comments that the province of New Brunswick has encouraged the insurers to look at waiving these fees. It's math. It doesn't work that way. The fees are still going to be charged. The only people that can waive these fees that has any substantial impact on this particular situation right now is the pharmacy owners. It is not the insurers. I would highly suspect that the province of New Brunswick, in the manner they're doing it, are absorbing those fees on behalf of the cardholders. The insurers could do that, but it's just kicking the football further down the road, and that's going to have to be paid at some point. So this all comes down to math. Everybody's hurting right now. I know my practice, I'm a money manager as well. Because of the markets, I'm down. Our volume of sales is down considerably because we can't physically see people at this point. But we're doing the best we can, and we're trying to manage our affairs and our clients' affairs as efficiently as possible. In this particular circumstance, there's one organization right now that I think has to take a leadership role, and that would be the New Brunswick Pharmacy Association. And they need to step up, clarify their position, and possibly, or I would suggest, instruct the pharmacy owners in the province of New Brunswick to work with the population and the insurers and everybody else and figure out a way to limit what they are charging during this crisis. I have a really big issue with somebody profiting off of this, and I realize there's extra work for them. I manage money. Right now, people are concerned. I have a lot of extra work right now that I'm not getting paid for. Albeit I was paid for it over the years, and really that's when people need me most, is when there is crisis. Same as the pharmacists. But right now, the pharmacy owners have to step up and figure out a way to mitigate this. Now, is it a complete reduction of the fees the second and third month? I'm not sure, but it's got to be better than what it is. For more information on this and why I'm speaking about it today, in today's business section in the local newspapers, there is an article talking about senior sphere exposures. It's not just the seniors. It's anybody that has maintenance drugs. We're not talking about if Junior has an earache and needs to go get that filled. That's not an issue. The issue is maintenance drugs. Many people I know that are on the seniors plan, that they have to pay the copay of $15 flat, are now going to go from, in some cases, 10 prescriptions every 3 months, costing them $150 to costing them $450. This isn't okay. So I am publicly calling on the New Brunswick Pharmacy Association to step up, offer a clarification on what their position is and what they're doing to work with the pharmacy owners to help all New Brunswickers in this situation. Thank you and enjoy your weekend.